A Happy New Year. I don't know if you heard the prior discussion, but I do wonder whether or not you think this variant and what we think is a mild severity of it, not to mention the more creative CDC guidelines, more flexibility among corporates perhaps, is going to ratify the pivot that we got from the committee last couple of weeks.
Well, I think it's really important that the Fed start to move ahead. There was a significant chance that inflation expectations could have become unanchored. So far, they haven't, but that risk was there, and so I think it's really important that they moved. But I think that there are some consequences of the variant, even if it's not very infectious, that could lead to some increased price pressures. I think China is going to be having very large lockdowns. We've just seen one lockdown in Xi'an of 13 million people. They're pursuing a zero COVID policy. This variant is super transmissible, even if it doesn't cause much harm. If you're going to pursue zero COVID, you're going to be doing a lot of lockdowns in China and other parts of Asia.
Yeah, we've been watching that lockdown in Xi'an for a few days now. I wonder, I mean, on a relative basis, it would impact imports, I'm guessing, is your argument. But I do wonder if we're able to be a little more loose with guidelines, at least in the States, with ports, with trucking, with rail, if maybe it won't be as severe as some of the supply chain pressures we talked about earlier in the year.
Yeah, I think this will pass, but I do think that anyone who relies very specifically on Chinese manufacturing is going to see a challenge. I mean, you would have had a challenge anyway because you have the Chinese New Year. You also would have had some slowdowns of production around the Beijing Olympics. But I think this is going to add to it, and so I think that could put some pressure on, at least for the next few months.
Randy, what kind of grade would Professor Kroszner give to Jay Powell in 2021, taking into account how much he focused on employment, where inflation is today, and whether he made a mistake by focusing on one at the expense of the other and now is going to have to play catch up and fight inflation a lot harder, perhaps, than he would have otherwise have liked?
Well, I think you're right that they're playing a little bit of catch up, but they were purposefully doing that. That was part of the framework that they had adopted when the concern was that inflation was too low rather than too high, and that they are purposefully choosing to have a different kind of framework so that they allow the unemployment rate to come down more than they otherwise perhaps would have tolerated because of the threat of inflation. So I think I'm going to cheat a little bit here and say incomplete, because you really have to look at it over a couple of years because they're looking at it. Well, their framework is it's a multi-year framework, 1 year framework.
I knew exactly what I was walking into when I decided to ask you that question. I figured I was going to try and do it anyway in hopes that you would give some sort of grade, and almost thinking that you couldn't give an A, just based on the fact if they're playing catch up in and of itself, if inflation is where it is today, then let's just take an A off the table and try to grade the Fed chair as evenly as we possibly can, even with your proximity to that chair in prior years.
Yeah, it's as you say, it's always very difficult to grade friends. So I think I'm going to continue to punt on that one. But I think you're exactly right that so if I giving comments on the midterm, let's say, because I think it's the midterm, is that insufficient attention to the prospect for inflation, and by the final, you better study more on that issue. And they're starting to move, fortunately. Have they moved quickly enough? So far, we haven't seen inflation expectations come up. The 10-year rate is still, bouncing around 150. That suggests the markets think that it's not going to get out of control. That's why I'm sort of in the, I'm only grading the midterm, not the final quite yet.